Good morning, students. Welcome to lecture number 37 of the Signals and Systems course. Today we will be continuing with our discussion on the Z transform and properties of region of convergence. A brief recap. In yesterday's lecture we saw the Z transform of common signals. We saw Z transform of region of convergence and pole zero locations for a class of infinite signals. And we also saw the ROC and the Z transform of finite duration signals, and this is where we stopped our discussion. Today what we will do is we will see what we can extract about the general properties of ROC based on the signal, and we will discuss these. We will systematically arrange these general properties under properties of region of convergence. We will then look into the causality and stability properties of LTI systems. So let's start. So in the last lecture we saw many examples of signals and how would we write the Z transform and the region of convergence. We saw some interesting cases where two different signals, for example here, two different signals had the same functional form for the Z transform, but the region of convergence was different. So this told us that the region of convergence somehow plays a very important role in defining the Z transform. So we will look into these properties today. All the types of signals which we saw in the last lecture can be classified into two broad categories. One is infinite duration signals, for example signals like this, where the signal extends to infinity, either plus infinity or minus infinity or on both directions of the time axis, but the duration of these signals is infinite. And then there is another second class of signals which we saw, which was the finite duration signals, where the signal is non-zero only for a finite duration in the time domain. So we will look at the signals and the ROC properties of these two classes of signals. So let us look at first look at the infinite duration signals. In infinite duration signals, we can broadly classify them as right-sided or the causal signals. By causal, I mean, so here there is a subtle point. Right-sided would mean that the signal is 0 on the left side of some number, whereas causal signals would mean that the signal is 0 for the signal is so x of n is equal to 0 in this range. So the signal exists only on the right side and it is called causal signal. So the examples for this type of signal would be a to power n un, and for that we had seen that the region of convergence would lie outside a unit circle. So if I want to draw the region of convergence for this, the region of convergence would be like this, where this radius would be decided by what actually this signal is. There is a subtle point here. So this would be true for a general right-sided this would be true for general causal signals. Suppose you have a signal which starts from here, which has a non-zero term here, and then it goes like this. This would also have ROC here in this range, right? But in that case, you would have to exclude, because x of z would have some term of xz, or say x of minus 1 z plus x of 0 plus x 0 x 1 Z inverse and so on. So, because of this point there would be a pole at Z is equal to infinity. So, if a signal is right sided but non causal, in that case the region of convergence would be outside this circle, but Z is equal to 0 would be excluded, Z is equal to infinity would be excluded. So, this point would be excluded. Excluded in the region of convergence. Similarly, if you have a left sided signal, it is also called anti-causal if this is all 0 for n greater than 0. So, in that case we had seen that the region of convergence would be inside the circle. So, that was the difference between these two signals. Let me show you where it goes. Between these two signals, the functional form was the same. The limit, the pole of these functions was the same. However, the region of convergence for this right sided signal was outside the circle, whereas for the left sided signal it was inside the circle. Now, suppose you have a two sided signal. In that case, what happens? If you have a two sided signal like this shown in the case C, in that case we had seen that if at all Z transform exists, in that case okay, I think I should color code this as well. So, if at all the Z transform exists, it would be existing inside this. So, this outer one this. So, the left sided signal would be giving you the region which is inside a circle, and the blue one would be giving you what would be the outside. So, the region of convergence would be this ring. If at all this exists, So, just by looking at the ROC, so suppose you don't get to see the signals on in the left column. If I just show you the ROC, you can still tell fairly good amount of information about the signal. You can at least tell what are the general characteristics of the signal, whether it's right sided or left sided or two sided. Now, let us consider the second class of signals, which are finite duration signals. Finite duration signals are lot more simpler. So, suppose you have a right sided or causal finite duration signal. In that case, your ROC would be, what would be your ROC? So, fill this column on your own. Take these three cases: finite duration, right sided or causal, left sided or anti causal, and two sided. But this is also x of n equal to 0, and here also x of n equal to 0. So what can you say about the ROC properties based on the exercises which we solved yesterday? So an example of a right-sided finite duration signal is this. Here the ROC is entire z plane except z is equal to 0. So that would be true for whatever irrespective of the values of this signal. So let me write it down. Entire z plane except z is equal to 0. Except z is equal to 0. If it is anti-causal, in that case you would have entire z plane except z is equal to infinity. Z is equal to infinity. And if you have a two-sided signal, in that case you would have ROC as entire z plane except z is equal to 0 and z is equal to infinity. Right. So based on this, we can tell lot about the signal just by looking at the region of convergence. So let us summarize these observations in the form of properties of region of convergence. So the first property is that the region of convergence consists of a ring in the z plane centered about origin. So it always exists as a ring. Either it can be a region outside or inside, but it would always depend on it will always be decided by concentric rings. This can be bound by two such circles, but it would always be decided by a circle. It won't be in some form of a shape that it would never happen that you would have a region of convergence as something like this, and then this is the ROC, right. So this would never happen. It will be always be like this. Why is that? Because your convergence property depends on the magnitude. So the convergence has to be on x of n r to power minus n less than 0. So this depends only on the magnitude of z. Magnitude of z and not on the angle. The second property is that ROC does not contain any pole. This is because the x z, which is a summation, this has to converge. So the region of convergence should not contain any poles. It can contain zeros. The third property is that if x of n is a finite duration signal, then the region of convergence is the entire z plane except possibly the z is equal to 0 and or z is equal to infinity. So, in this statement all three possibilities of finite duration signals are captured. Property 4, if x of n is right sided signal, then ROC is of the form mod z greater than R naught. If this is a right sided signal, but if it is non-zero for some finite number of points on the for negative values of n, in that case you would still get region of convergence in this form. However, you would have to exclude infinity from the region of convergence. Similarly, if x of n is a right sided signal, is a left sided signal, in that case region of convergence is of this form. The sixth property is very interesting. We have already seen this, but this tells us this will be used in defining the stability condition on a system. So, the sixth property states that the DTFT exists when the region of convergence contains the unit circle. So, we have seen that region of convergence is good enough indicator of at least the class or the type of signal. In the next lecture, we will see that the information about the pole 0 location along with the region of convergence is enough to characterize the system, that we will look into in the next lecture. Before that, let us come back to the system perspective for discrete time systems. So, we had seen that we know that if I have a discrete LTI, discrete time LTI system, I can characterize the system by its h of n, and we can characterize this in terms of h of n, and your output is the convolution of the input signal and the impulse response h of n. Right. Now, let us recall what we had discussed in a previous lecture. I think we had discussed this in lecture number 9. So, go back to your notes of lecture 9 and look at this. So, while we were looking at the convolution of discrete time signals, we saw that there is an interesting manifestation of this. What did we observe? We had seen that the coefficients of polynomials of the polynomial obtained by multiplication of two polynomials are the result of convolution of the coefficients of individual polynomials. So, what it meant was that the coefficients p1, so if I have a polynomial p1 given by this expression and polynomial 2 given by this expression, and if I multiply these two polynomials, the coefficients would be the convolution of my signal A0, A1, A2, A3 with my signal B0, B1, and then there are the zeros here, right. So, We had seen this. Go back to that lecture and see what happens when we multiply. So basically, we had drawn a table like this, and from here we had inferred that actually when you are convolving these two signals, convolving when you are arranging the coefficients of polynomial as a signal, discrete time signal, and multiplying those polynomials would correspond to the convolution of these two signals, right. So, now here if I replace say x by z inverse. So, note that here x is a variable, it is not a signal, right. So, this suppose I replace this by x by z inverse. So, here I would have what would I have, a 3 z to power minus 3 plus a 2 z to power minus 2 plus a 1 z to power minus 1 plus a 0, and similarly for the polynomial 2. Now, what we are actually doing is, in Z transform we are actually representing this time domain signal in terms of a polynomial in Z. That is exactly what we are doing. So, here we have, if x of n is a signal, x of z would be its Z transform, and your output instead of output would be multiplication of x of z into h of z. So, where these two x h of z would be the Z transform of h of n. So, here this is a polynomial, in Z or Z inverse. Similarly, this is also polynomial in Z, and what is this is the multiplication of polynomials. This is just another perspective for the systems approach. So, it should be clear to you by this time that Hz and its region of convergence should provide important information about the system properties. So, if I am defining Hn and consecutively Hz, I know that this is an LTI system. So, it is linear and time invariant. There are two other properties of a system which are crucial, which is the causality property and the stability property. So, let us look at what does the region of convergence tell us about the causality and the stability properties. So, a system is causal when we know that h of its impulse response is 0 for n less than 0. So, when h of n is equal to 0 for n less than 0, the system is causal. That is the condition for causality on the system. Or in other words, we can say that h of n is right sided with n being for Hn is equal to 0 for n less than 0. So, we have looked at what would this right sided signal correspond, what would be the corresponding region of convergence for a right sided system like this. So, based on that we can say that a discrete time LTI system is causal if and only if the region of convergence is exterior of a circle outside the outermost pole, and that includes infinity. That includes infinity because h of n has to be 0 for n less than 0. If it is not, in that case, if it is not, in that case you would have a term like you would have a term h z into x of minus 1 or h of minus 1 plus h of 0 plus h of 1 z inverse and so on. So, this would have a pole infinity. Therefore, this should include infinity for a system to be causal. The second condition is the stability. So, we know that an LTI system has is stable if the summation of the I mean if h of n is converging, right. Right. So, we know the that h of n is converging if, so the condition for stability is that mod h of n should be bound, and this is true when this is true, if this has to be true in when this, if this has to be true, then the region of convergence must include the unit circle h1 unit circle mod z is equal to 1, right. So, this is the main condition for stability. So, if your region of convergence contains the unit circle in the z plane, then the system is stable. Based on this, we can have different cases of region of convergence and where there is region of convergence and whether the region of convergence contains a unit circle or not. So, let us look at some of these cases. So, let us take this case. Here the red curve in all these figures would indicate unit circle. So, this is unit circle. So, at this moment pause this video and write down what would be the properties of region of convergence for this. Here the region of convergence is outside a circle. So, the system is, and it includes infinity. If not if I have not otherwise mentioned, I would assume that it would include infinity. So, the system here would be causal and it includes unit circle. So, this is also stable. Right. What about the second signal? What would about the second case here? Here the region of convergence is inside a circle. So, it is anti-causal, right. This does not include unit circle. So, this is not in ROC. So, that means the system is anti-causal and it is unstable. So, what would be an example of such a system? So, let me quickly what I am having here is a signal like this. So, this is unit circle, this is A is less than 1 in this case, this is A inverse. So, this is greater than 1, this is A to the power minus 2. So, this will go on increasing. So, this would be an unstable system. The third case, here the region of convergence is outside the circle. So, this would be a causal system. What about the stability condition? The region of convergence does not include the unit circle. So, this is unstable. Similarly, here the region of convergence is inside a circle. So, this is anti-causal. And it includes unit circle. So, this is stable. So, in this case, here A is greater than 1. So, in that case, if I want to plot my signal again, this would be A is greater than 1. So, this A to the power minus 1 would be smaller than this point and so on. So, this would be stable. What about this case? Here the region of convergence is between two concentric circles, it is a ring. So, this tells us that this is a two-sided signal and it includes unit circle. So, this is stable, and since it is two-sided, it means that it is not causal. It is neither causal nor anti-causal, but if I ask you whether this system is causal or not, you would you can infer that it is a non-causal system, right. So, we will stop this lecture here today. What we have seen today is properties of region of convergence and the causality and stability properties of LTI systems based on its region of convergence. In the next lecture, we will look at the pole zeros of rational Z transforms. We will look at linear constant coefficient different equations, and then we will look at the realization of discrete time systems. I will stop here today. Good day. We will meet in the next lecture.